Hello and welcome to Meet the Authors. We're here at the Florida Writers Association with 500 authors. It's pretty exciting. All these lectures about different types of ways to improve your books. We highly recommend it. And I have been privileged to bring some of the authors here to talk about their books and their writing careers. And this is Krys Fenner, right?
It's Krys Fenner is how it's actually pronounced. I
Krys.
know. Yeah, my uncle makes fun of it all the time. He always says it's Krys, not Krys.
I like that. That's great. And you write, tell me about your books.
Okay, so the first book is Addicted. It is a series. The first three books actually cover the first arc, so it's the first major story.
Okay.
The story was so big it had to be done in 3 books.
Oh, yeah. I like those type of things because you really get the series going, you get involved with the characters.
Oh, yeah. The first book deals with Bella, who's the main character.
Bella?
She is brutally raped.
Oh, how awful.
And at the same time, she's met a guy that she likes for the first time.
And
really.
he's not the one who rapes her.
No, he's not the one who rapes her.
I like the hero aspect of that.
Yeah. He actually turns out to be a really great anchor for her in the first book. And he does what he can to try to protect her because the rapist keeps coming after her.
Again.
Yeah, he doesn't keep raping her, but he does keep trying to get the boyfriend out of the way, and he wants her all for himself because of the fact that they have a history, they have a connection that she's not aware of yet.
Oh, I see.
So she actually doesn't discover that until the second book, which is Damaged. And with that, it goes into...
I like these names. They're very dramatic. Addicted and Damaged and...
The third book is Avenged.
Avenged. Oh, I like that.
Yes. I love it. It's actually, the third book is my favorite of the 3. It really starts to bring it all together, and everything that happens does get resolved. In the second book, she gets into drugs.
Oh.
So it gets...
There's so much, somebody gets damaged from the rape. There's so much traumatic syndrome to that and trying to recover so hard.
It is. It is a lot for, especially for a 16-year-old, but for anyone really.
Oh, only 16.
Yeah,
oh.
she's only 16.
Oh, how awful.
Yeah.
And the guy that her boyfriend, how old is he? The one who's the hero?
He's 16 as well.
Wow. And how old's the rapist?
The rapist is actually in his 30s.
Taking advantage of young people. Well, that's so unfair. How awful.
Yeah.
All right. So the first book is about the actual events, and tell me about this. I want to show this again. This cover. Look at this. Doesn't it really give you the picture of how strong? We'll cut this out and put it broadly across the film. But that is really an impressive cover. Who did you cover?
Molly Phipps is actually my cover artist. I absolutely love her. She is with We Got You Cover Designs.
Oh, I like that. We Got You Cover Designs.
Yeah, she's great.
So any of you authors out there looking for cover, there's a lead there.
She is. She's really great. And would you believe she actually nailed this cover on the first time?
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So she came back with this sample the first time, and I was like, and I saw it, and I was like, I can see my book in bookstores. This is beautiful.
That is really nice. And so she's a 16-year-old. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you tell us a little bit of the plot. 16-year-old, and how does this all come down?
So he actually sees her so he hasn't seen her since she was a child, since she was a baby.
Okay.
He actually runs into her at a July 4th party, and he assaults her there.
At the party?
Yes, he assaults her at the party. He drugs her. And she has absolutely no memory of it. So because of the fact that she didn't lose her virginity at that point, she didn't realize it. She's just like, okay, maybe she had something to drink that she didn't intend to, something happened. So she puts it behind her and just moves on as if nothing ever happened. And then the beginning of the school year is when he's actually been making plans this entire time. So the beginning of the school year is when he actually rapes her. He gets her alone, and he has people who are frenemies of hers. So they're enemies, but they become friends later, sort of. And they kind of help him by keeping an eye on her and saying, okay, she's going to be by herself. And he gets her in an alleyway.
Ooh. Yeah, that's so nasty. The whole scenario is so nasty to be, one thing, it's terrible to be raped in any case, but then to be pulled into some dirty, freaking alleyway, to be assaulted and raped, and of course she's not even drugged, she's going to have complete memories of this scene. And how come Does she report it? Is she able to, like, any police involved?
Yes, there is police involved. The guy she actually is seeing, Jeremiah, his father is the new sheriff.
Oh, that's good.
For the town.
The personal involvement there.
Yeah, so he does everything in his power to try and catch the guy. And when I say that Hervasio, who is our villain, he is like psycho, completely psycho, but I absolutely loved writing him.
Those characters are so strong. Yeah.
Yeah, he is truly evil. He's very easy to hate. Some of the other characters are actually easy to hate, but I promise they do come out good in the end later.
Her frenemies.
Yes, her frenemies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all have troubled backgrounds.
Okay.
And I think this is just something that young adults deal with. We all come from different backgrounds. And things that you don't see going on behind the screen are really there. You have the cheerleader who is all perky and she's Miss Perfect and everybody at this high school loves her, but at the same time they hate her.
They're jealous of her.
Exactly. And you don't know what's going on at home. She has parents who are uninvolved in her life. They don't care unless she gains weight.
Oh.
So her mother, you really actually get a picture of in the third book. And you won't like her.
Yeah.
But you hate the mother more. When my editor actually read the third book, she told me that I absolutely had to make sure that the parents got their due justice in the fourth book.
Is there a fourth book coming too then?
There is a fourth book that will come out next year.
I love that you can evolve with a character in a plot like this. So many people stop with 3, and then it's like, oh, I love these characters, and there's never going to be another book.
This is actually currently planned to be an ongoing series.
Oh, okay.
So every character that is introduced in the book will have their own book at some point.
But the villain is caught in the third book.
Yes, he. We'll just say he gets his justice.
All right. Well, he should. So, what motivated you to write this type of book?
Some of this is actually pretty personal for me. I was assaulted when I was a teenager.
Oh.
And it was something that I didn't report because I didn't understand that it was assault. And so I kind of dealt with it by myself. And I did attempt suicide when I was a teenager. And it was one of those things that it wasn't until later in life after I really got the help I needed to deal with everything. I said, there's other teenagers out here that have gone through this. There's other teenagers that are dealing with these issues. This is something that needs to be out there. Lori Hall Sanderson is one of my favorite authors. She wrote Speak. And that was something that really touched me because of the fact that everything that she writes in that book takes place after the rape. So it's all the aftermath. I said, really, you need to be there enough to see just a glimpse of what life is before it.
Yes.
And then after. And you really have to follow that.
You can see that transition, how it changed your life.
Exactly.
I was talking to a psychologist at the table at breakfast this morning. He was saying 70% of all people have had a traumatic experience in their childhood that's changed their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that's wonderful that you can get your feelings out, and this is going to be a healing book, and it's so relevant for people who've had to go through this experience and can learn from this and hopefully straighten out their life, like you said with the Speak book.
Absolutely.
So where can people get your book?
Currently it's available, the ebooks are available on Amazon only. You can get the print books here at the bookstore if you're here at the conference. Otherwise, I will actually be at an event in the Villages in December in the Einstein, I want to say it's the Einstein Tower.
The Villages in Florida, Einstein Tower. What day?
It's going to be December 7th, and it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and it's a museum from what I understand. They've actually just sent us the seating. It's really going to be a huge event. There's like 94 authors there total. Wow. So, yeah, there's 4 different rooms.
So anybody who likes books, this will be an opportunity for you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So you can find me there in December. You can follow me on Facebook to get all the details with the address and everything.
So you'll give me your Facebook, and I will put that on the screen here.
Yes.
And you have a website?
I do have a website. It's really simple. It's krysfenner.co.
KRYSFENNER.
Yes.
I'll put that on the screen too.
Yes.
And you can get them from Amazon, and you can get all the authors' book are invited to put their books on my website, so you can get the book directly from my website. And if you do that, I get a dime.
Yeah.
Well, that is great.
Otherwise, you can find it online at any of your bookstores.
Yeah. Which major bookstores carry you?
Barnes & Noble carries me. obviously Amazon carries me. You can find it. I'm trying to think of which other ones you can find it on.
Okay. Well, that is wonderful. It's a great book, a wonderful story that I think is really relevant, particularly in today's Me Too movement, and it's wonderful to have you on. Krys, thank you for joining us on Meet the Authors.
Thank you for having me.
And stay tuned. We'll be back either this show or future shows with more interviews from Meet the Authors.